My name is Reza, and I've been a Microsoft certified trainer since 2001, namely dealing with infrastructure and also Windows servers. But for the past couple of years, I've decided to get myself into blockchain, seeing that it's a brand new technology that's going to change the world. Blockchain is tricky to understand. At the very core of it, blockchain technology records transactions permanently, and you can only sequentially update the database or the records. So essentially, you cannot modify or even delete any records that has been put onto the blockchain. Now, that's just the first part. The second part of the blockchain is that it needs to run in a decentralized network, meaning to say that no single computer is in control, rather the control is distributed across all the computers that sits on the blockchain network. So essentially, blockchain is two things. Blockchain is a record-keeping technology, and also it runs in a decentralized network, meaning to say that there are no central servers. Essentially, when people hear about blockchain, yes, they think it's a database, but there are major differences between a blockchain and a database. Now, for traditional databases, basically they are controlled by a single person or company, and any records on the databases you can either create, read, update, and delete. That means if you have the administrative rights, you can always delete any records on the database. A blockchain is different. Once you add the records into the blockchain, you cannot go back and modify any records in the blockchain. Rather, you can only add on to it. Now, another major difference between the database and blockchain is this, in terms of speed and performance. If companies want to look at their database and they need speed, then the database is the answer. Because the way that it works in a blockchain is that the validation of data that happens in a blockchain sometimes may take more than 10 minutes. So in terms of speed and performance, it's way slower compared to the database. But this is still work in progress because people are still working on how to make transactions faster. As an example, a typical blockchain can only process 15 to 20 transactions per second. If you compare it with a Visa database, they can do much more. So we have a long way to go, but it's getting there. As the blockchain sits on top of the internet layer, so therefore people can start playing around with it immediately. All they need is to download the source codes. By the way, the blockchain source code is free. Alright, so anyone can play around with any blockchain. So yeah, essentially a company can only get started with it. Of course, with any new technology, you need to read up about it, you need to watch some videos, or even come to training. That'll be a lot better. Companies need to first evaluate whether a traditional database will do the job for them, or they need like a historical record-keeping technology like the blockchain. So first of all, evaluate. But there are some industries which is primed to be used blockchain technology, for example, the education industry, supply chain, and anything that you need to keep a historical record of, for example, land titles as well. The time that we're in is important, or rather historical, because we are at the same point where we were at the internet, or when the first website was launched in the 1990s. So we're actually right there, even before the first website. So I encourage people to get to know blockchain sooner rather than later, because as with any new technology, you want to be at the forefront. Companies that want to catch up might take a while. It's just like websites. Not all companies had websites until a lot of them had. And the thing about websites before was that some of the first few websites were actually just, not so great. It's just basically like a brochure. So you need evolution of that, and we need more people into the blockchain industry.